share in these growth projects. When the growth project was will I say, in the planning stage, Uncle Rotimi shared it, and I'm like, this is power packed the whole year, and we are just learning and learning. So I was really interested, and then I went through it. I'm like, I love this topic. I think it would be nice for me to share one or two things on it. And I'm grateful for being given the platform to just share, right? And it's very interesting. I'm sharing alongside Mr. Shola. So I got to know Mr. Shola sometime in 2021, and it's been an awesome ride, just learning from him, him encouraging me. Like Uncle Rotimi said, it's a very, very, awesome uncle. And yeah, it's been great. So today's topic, use it or lose it, right? I know that sounds like, okay, are we playing a betting game? Maybe if I give you money, if you play it, right, you win. But I mean, don't play, you lose it. You're like, of course, let's play the money, right? But no, that's not what we are talking about here. We're talking about natural and spiritual gifts for service. Okay, so let's start by asking a question. So all through to this session, right? We'd like it to be interactive, so we'd be grateful if everybody could just, chat in the chat box. You can raise your hand, and then we give you the platform to just speak. So yes, the question is on the screen, right? Let's just ask. Let's tap into our fictional world. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? A few minutes ago, that I would have loved to have. I don't know why his name skipped my head. So he has this energy power, so he controls electricity. I think it's Black Adam. There's another one again that controls electricity. So I'll just have loved to just wave my fingers and then turn on the lights. But now the light is on. Let me think of another superpower I'd like to have. I think another superpower I'd like to have. Somebody said mind control. What? Shall we? What? Another person said how to read people's minds. That's very interesting. Shane, we could just share. Why in the world would you like a gift to control someone's mind? What's going on there? Science says time travel. Time travel. I'm sure that right now you are seeing that Bitcoin is over the roof. Wants to go back to that time when it was like how many cents ago? That pizza they bought for $40. Like, me, I will not use it to buy pizza. I'll just keep it. Okay, that's nice. So let's have more responses in the chat box. I mean, if you want to speak, you can just raise your hand as well. So we just get to see inside your mind. Tolu said Shazam. So you have two identities, right? When you just want to, your alter ego, just Shazam and then you move. Okay, so Emmanuel Shapa says power to control time. So I think a lot of people want to control time, just like, I know what is happening now. Let me go make better decisions. Or let me just travel to the future and just, let's get right to say there's light at the end of the tunnel. I want to go to the end of that tunnel, right? Okay. Shaun says he wants to mind control so politicians can work in our favor. Okay, that's for a good cause. So he said mind control. I'm like, are you mega mind? What is going on there? Okay, that's great. So he wants to help people to act better. So somebody said infinite money glitch. What is that? What is infinite money glitch? So you just want to be able to wave your hands and then you don't know, something will happen to the stock market or to the ATM and then money just pops out. Interesting. So someone says the art of negotiation. So this person wants to close $100 million deals. Beautiful. So power to see into the future. Yeah, relating to time too. Okay. The ability to clone things. And this person said himself. So you want to be in 100 places at the same time. That's interesting. So someone said teleportation. That's a beautiful one because we will not be crying that Nigeria is hard. We just move. We keep moving till we get to the best place. So someone says being resistant to every disease. That's great. That's like immunity or what they call it, or something like immortality. That's good. That's good. I know that we are just excited thinking about all these fun things that we want to, we want to be. I mean, who wouldn't want to teleport? Who would want to be able to, time travel? But then we don't have the ability to do that. but there's something we do have the ability, right? So God didn't give us superpowers. He gave us even something more meaningful than superpowers, right? He gave us gifts. And these gifts are woven into who we are, right? Both natural gifts, spiritual gifts, they are woven into our beings. And that's something very unique that God has given to us. And the thing is, we are wishing for different gifts, but every single person has a gift, right? And the real value is in how we use them. Okay. So let's read Psalm 139, verse 13 to 14. Psalm 139, 13 to 14. So it says, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. That's interesting, right? So that's the time travel thing that we are talking about, right? We are being taken back to right back where in our mother's womb, right? It wasn't a mistake that we were born. God had a purpose for being born, and right there and then, He crafted us for a particular purpose. He, built in so many unique qualities into us, and we were made full well, right? No matter how you think you are, some people like, I don't really like my nose. I think it's big. I think it's too slim. My hair is somehow. We are made full well, no matter how you think, oh, I think I really like something else, so I'd like to be better, right? So it means that we are not an accident. We are a masterpiece designed by God. And again, like I said, He has placed, within us gifts and abilities that make us unique. Okay, and He knew what He was doing when He made us, right? So let me just give us an example. Somebody said infinite money glitch. So let's just say, oh, you had so much money. Just said, I think something I'd like to do. Let me get the latest iPhone. I know it's not really much of an update, but I just like to brag. And then you got that iPhone, and very interesting enough, you didn't open it. You just left it in the park. I know you're like thinking like, never. How can I get a new phone, the latest iPhone? And nobody's gonna know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us will do mirror selfies so that we just see the camera, we see the make. I mean, everywhere we go, we just bring out the phone. Let's let everybody take use of it. But just imagine like you kept it in the box. I know that's like very, very like, nah, that can happen. Everybody's gonna know, right? But sometimes, that's what we do with the gifts God give us, right? He gave us so many gifts and we are meant to use them, right? We're meant to show it to everybody, let everybody know that, yes, I have this, this is who I am, and, not hide it, right? So today we're just going to talk about how to discover, develop our gifts and use them, right? So how do we, not let our gifts sit on the shelf like that phone? Definitely not put an iPhone 16 on the shelf when it's not, all those landlines. Some people in their house, maybe they have this grandfather clock, landlines, maybe their grandparents passed it on to them, and then it's just like a museum in their house. People just see, oh, wow, you have this stuff in your house. We will definitely not do that with an iPhone 16. So today we're just going to see how we can begin to use our gifts and not let it sit on the shelf like an iPhone, right? So I'll be passing over to Mr. Scott to just, help us to understand how to discover our gifts.
All right. Good evening, everybody. And thank you very much, Eniola, for that introduction. I really appreciate that. And it's my honor, and I find myself privileged, to be invited to this program. I must say, this is very encouraging. This has given me so much hope, about the future, about the kingdom, about the church in itself, looking at what you guys, every one of you have been doing. I will tell you, a lot of you here have looked at the participants and I've been seeing names. A lot of you here inspire me. And I know it's not just me, a lot of other brothers and sisters are inspired by what you all do. You've got the energy, you've got the talent, God is using you guys, and we are counting so much on you. Thank you so much for having us this evening. And as Eniola mentioned, God has brought us together one way or the other for us to do amazing things. And I know that this is just the beginning. We would still be able to do a lot more things in the corporate world, in the church, and of course, within God's kingdom in itself. And I want to thank you for that. And just as Eniola did mention, something she said earlier, got to me. And I think it's good to mention this. If we think back, why did God create me? There is definitely a reason, because this is the way I see it. I feel God has a plan. There is a big blueprint plan on what God wants. He has that big plan. And in that plan, we are in that plan, and that makes us to be privileged. We're special for us to be in God's plan. And just as Eniola mentioned, God has created you the way you are for a reason. There is something he knitted in you. There is a way he created you. He didn't make a mistake creating you to be a Nigerian. He didn't make a mistake for you to have a black skin. He didn't make a mistake for you to be born that year you were born. He didn't make a mistake for me to have a big nose or to have my body size as it is. There is a reason for that. And one of those things are what we want to look at this evening, talking about gifts and tying this into God's plan. Because if God has us in his own plan, we must then be able to meet that mission, because there is a mission, there is an objective, and it's our own responsibility to be able to meet that mission. But I will start with us looking at the Bible. Let's look at 1 Peter chapter 4, 10 to 11. And it says, God gave us these gifts, and we are called to be faithful servants of them. That means it's not enough to just have them. We're meant to just use these gifts, just as Eniola has mentioned. He had planned it, and he has given us these gifts naturally. And now I would like to share with us natural talents. And these are God-given abilities that we came with into this world. We will discover ourselves that there is just something that makes us stand out. As somebody said, I listen a lot to Miles Monroe's videos, and one thing he said, there is something you are very good at. Other people may be good at it, but they can't do better than you. And that is one thing that makes you unique. That is one natural talent or natural gift that God has given to you. And there is a purpose for that. Secondly, we then have spiritual gifts. And of course, these are gifts from the Holy Spirit that we can use, not this time around, not for ourselves, but we're using it for the benefit of other people. We're using it for the benefit of people around us, benefits of the church, the country, and all of that. And we have examples. Some of us have the gift to encourage other people. Other people, the moment they see you, the moment you get into that gathering, the atmosphere changes. Adrenaline will rise. Light is going to shine. You just don't know how it happens. It just happens that way. You didn't plan it. God has just given it to you that way. Some of us have the ability just to be able to put things in place. Look at this program. I've attended your programs, and there are just some people who just know how to do things. Just get them, let them put their hands on it, let them be involved. They just know how to organize things. And those kind of spiritual gifts too are things we can use. We can teach people. We read the Bible, deep convictions, deep insight, and we can help people to be able to understand this. Now, let us then reflect and look at our own gifts. There are some things that probably make you unique that you might have discovered. There are some things that people must have been saying about you. When I became a disciple, maybe about 25 years ago, I was trying to discover myself. And the way it works for me might not be the way it works for you, but I'd like to share with you my own story. I was trying to discover myself and to know, why am I here? What are the things that I'm meant to do? And I learned that I need to appreciate or welcome criticisms. Some other people will see it in such a way that I am more of a people pleaser because you want to know what people think about you. You want to learn about people's impressions about you. It has its advantages, it has its disadvantages because it helps me to put my place or to put myself in order. But there was something that took so long, so many years for me to discover. And I kept asking people, what is that one thing you think I am good at? I kept asking people, and different people were coming back with different responses. Some will say, you can talk for Africa. Some will say, you can sell a dead body. Some will say, oh, you know how to teach. You know how to do this. You know how to do that. Some are encouraging. Some may be discouraging. But the truth is they were telling me what they feel. And I don't need to judge anybody on that. But it helped me to really discover so many years after that there's something I can pick in all of these things people are saying. So when it comes to speaking, when it comes to teaching, I feel this is something that I like to do. And whenever I do that, people say, oh, you do well. I went for a master's degree. It's an international MBA in Dubai. And of course, this with professors from Harvard University and all of that, with different professionals all around the world. And people were also saying there that, oh, you've got these good presentation skills and all of that. And it's not like I learned it, but I think it's just something, what some people will call ability. It just comes naturally. I just find myself that I'm just able to do this. Wake me up in the morning, say something. I'm just able to just say something, explain this and all of that. That could be that's a natural gift. But the thing about our spiritual gifts as well is how will people benefit from this? We then want to be able to develop these gifts. When we discover these gifts, we want to learn more about it. We want to hone it more. We want to make it perfect. We want to make it better. We want to be able to glorify God. Two, to make people better in line with God's plan. And then we need to keep asking ourselves. Some of us may be lucky enough that we can discover our gifts at an early stage. And some of us may not discover it at an early stage, but it may come later on in our own lives. But that helps you to discover and to define your purpose. This is why God wants you. And God wants you to use these gifts to glorify Him, to develop His kingdom, to help people, to make impact. And at the same time, I have this analogy. Let's assume I am a driver and my boss is a rich man. And when my boss sends me to go buy bread and he gives me his car keys, when I drive that big Lexus Jeep, comfortable, I'm going to experience the luxury, isn't it? Despite the fact that I'm a driver. I'm going to put on the AC in that car and I'm going to enjoy that ride, even though they sent me to buy bread. Now, God has given us gifts for us to use to encourage other people, to develop other people, to grow other people. But the truth is, while you are doing that, there are going to be some benefits for you as well. Because you're also using the medium. You're using the resources that God has also given to you. And these are the reasons why God has given us those gifts. As I mentioned earlier, He's got a big plan. You are in that plan. And you want to be able to use that plan, those gifts to glorify God, to serve other people, and to fulfill God's purpose. And when we go back to God's purpose, when He created the world, He wanted a family for Himself. He wanted friends, children for Himself, people He can hang around with. But of course, we know the story, a lot of things happened. And our own gifts, our purposes is going to be in line with that. And you want to be able to discover that. And I will ask for us that let's take some time and think about it. That what are those things that come naturally to you? You don't have to answer on this chat. If you want, if you have a notebook, you want to write it down, you can write it down. If some inspirations are coming to you, you want to ask some friends much later, you can ask them much later. You might even already know about some of these things. But what comes naturally to you? What are the things that people compliment you for? What do they say about you? There are some things that you may feel, oh, it's not good, but there might be some positivities in it. What activities make you alive? You're excited and you're happy doing this. In short, you can do this for free. For me, when I discover that I can talk, I can teach, and I love to do it, I can do it for free. And even despite the fact that I've been doing this for a while, I want to develop those skills. I joined some clubs. I joined the Toastmasters Club, and I discovered there were lots of disciples even in the Toastmasters Club. Not even through them, I just went online and I joined the club, and I met lots of disciples in there. And the good thing even about the church also helps us, especially when it comes to, meeting people, networking with people, talking. That's for my own life. Yours may be different. You are unique in your own space. And how has God used you? Or how do you think God is going to use you to bless other people? You might have some experiences that God is going to use. There might be some innate talents that you have that God is going to use. And I would like for you to take some time pondering over these questions, discuss it among yourselves, get some answers, get some feedback. And this same God that has got this great plan will definitely help you to understand it. If you remember some heroic movies that we watch, like Eniola mentioned about superpowers, some of these guys don't discover their powers, their superpowers, until one thing or the other will lead to that, and then they have to develop it. So we need to be able to develop our own powers as well. We need to be able to develop our own gifts as well. If you discover it, you want to be able to practice it. Miles Monroe, as we know, he earns about $50,000 an hour. He has up to about 900, 1,000 appointments in 1 year. And I'm using some of these examples because it has to do with speaking, it has to do with teaching and all of that. That's my own area of passion. Yours may be entirely different. But I'm using that example. He said he started by doing a lot of things, not because he wants to be successful, but because he wants to make impact. He says the moment you think about success, that's when you start failing. But you start thinking about the impact, and then the success is going to find you because you're going to impact people and God is going to be able to use you. So it requires you practicing for every opportunity you have. You want to teach in the kids' kingdom, and then you go on to the teens, and then you go on to the campus, and then you go on to the main church in itself, and then you go on to a conference in itself. There are all kinds of talents that you can make impact. Seek mentorship, ask your friends, ask your families. Be open to feedback. As I mentioned, some of the feedback I got when I was trying to discover myself, some of them were not encouraging, but I didn't judge people for that. And at the same time, as the Bible said, we should pray and seek for strength and for wisdom. We should seek for strength and wisdom. We know this story of the talents, the guy in the Bible, in Matthew chapter 25, 14 to 30. And of course, the parable of the talents. God has entrusted us with gifts for a particular purpose, and it's our responsibility to use them. And we need to be able to develop these gifts, as I mentioned. So embrace yourself, your strengths. Use your talents to serve the church. Use it to serve your community. There are times people may not come to you to tell you it's time to use those gifts. We all rely on you to be able to discover these gifts and to use it when the time comes. Irrespective of your age, irrespective of how much you have, irrespective of the gathering you are in. You might be in a gathering of very well experienced people who knows the Bible from A to Z, who has got all of the money, but you might be that person who has got the solution to the problem that they are thinking about. And that says a lot about us, we believing in ourselves and being able to use those gifts in our everyday lives to be able to impact people. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 to 27, if we have our Bibles and we want to be able to read from verse 12 to 27, it says, a person's body is one thing, but it has many parts. But all those parts make only one body. Christ is like that too. Some of us are Jews, some of us are Greeks, some of us are slaves, some are free, but we're all baptized into one body through one spirit, and we were all made to share in one spirit. And the person's body has more than one part. And of course, we know the story, each of those parts are useful for one another. The hand cannot say, I am not useful to the head, because the hand goes to the head and supports the head as well. So you have a role. We all have roles to play in that big picture of God's plan. And I know a brother already shared with us his own class before now about discovering our talents. And I know you've also given us that privilege and that opportunity as well on Sunday to be able to share more about this. But I'm going to also give Eniola some time to be able to give us some closing remarks regarding our own gifts as well. Eniola, please, if you're still there. Is Eniola in the room?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So thank you very much for, just breaking down all those concepts to us, because sometimes it's very hard. We have a lot of gifts and we don't even know where to start from. Sometimes we see, is it not talk? I mean, you just see it as something normal, but then that's something very, very unique to you that you need to be able to, will I say, develop, right? So let's just talk about, will I say, football. I know a lot of people play football, right? Imagine the great football players. I'm sure we can all mention them. What if they discover their talents, but they never practiced, right? So it's not enough to have talents. We need to be able to nurture that talent. So for me, talking about talents, I know growing up in the church, you had this thing I think every year. We used to do it every year. Now I don't really hear about it anymore, maybe because I'm not so involved. We had this Teens Got Talent. So, and it was mostly singing. Yeah, it was just singing and dancing. And every year they will open this parable of the talents for us and be like, you guys come and display your talents. Don't be like this person that buried their talent. And for me, it was, I'm like, I can't sing, I can't dance. I'm not hiding my talent. I really can't. But then it seems like, oh, you're not participating, you're not being a team player or something. And it was kind of discouraging those times when those programs came up, because I really can't. But what I did, I mean, of course, I'll be the backup. I'll be part of the backup singers. I mean, nobody needs to hear my voice. Just gonna support in numbers, right? But then the switch up came. They had this Berean Masters thing, and I don't know, we did trial rounds and everything, and I got it. And I think that was the first Berean Masters for teens, and I won the very first Berean Masters. And I was so good. I was like, yes. So for me, that was like, yes. Okay, you can't hear me. Is it better now?
Yes, you are very audible. Please go ahead.
Yes,
No,
I can hear
I
you
was
loud and clear.
alluding to what you said about
Okay.
singing
So yes,
background.
I was saying, the very first time I felt like, excited participating in this, Teens Got Talent was the Berean Master Show. And I'm like, yeah, I think I found what I'm good at. I think I love reading. I love being able to answer questions. I'm not the person who's gonna move my body and break dance and do all those things, or sing the soprano voices. So I know sometimes it can be very hard when you're seeing the crowd doing one thing and you're like, why can't I be like this person? Why am I different? Why don't I know, where I can thrive, where I can shine? And I think it's in those little things, just saying, okay, I cooked yesterday and you're cooking white rice, but then it's not white. You put carrots, you put pepper, and then every other day when you are cooking, you're just finding new ways to just cook up stuff. You're not cooking it normally. You enjoy doing it. That's a gift. That's a talent, right? You understand when you speak to people, right? Or when people enjoy just talking to you. Every time you're just hearing that somebody's just always telling you about what is going on in their lives. Trust me, that's not how they're telling everybody what is going on in their lives. That means you have a gift of listening, or you have a gift of encouragement. Those little things can help. You just need to reflect, right? Reflect and just see how they can help. So I think some action points we could do. We could just write like three things that we are interested in, right? You can just write 3 skills you are good at, or 3 of your interests, right? You could just write it. What do I think I'm good at? Now, so what topics am I interested in? When I hear people talking about this thing, I always want to just butt in. I'm just so excited about space. I'm excited about tech, right? Now you could just see, okay, these skills I think I'm good at, and these topics I'm interested in, how can they help? So from understanding that I enjoyed, will I say, I don't know, book things, right? So I stuck with that, right? You won't see me going to break dance, right? You'd see me, loving the numbers. So I'm with the counting and I enjoy just, going through the numbers, summarizing things, giving updates, managing the team. It's something I enjoy doing, right? And that's the skill I think I can do, analysis. What is a topic I think I'm interested in? Okay, let's just say accounting. I'm not really interested in accounting, but let's just give an example. Okay, so I like analysis. The topic I'm interested in is accounting. How can I apply that? There's accounting, I'm going to do it. So a skill you think you are good at, you like writing. Some topics that interest you, you enjoy writing about, I don't know, natural hair. So look for something that is interesting. Okay, you put up a medium page and you start writing about, maybe you have natural hair, start sharing about your natural hair journey, things that you use, the things that you do, right? So those are some practical ways we can begin to, work on that. So begin to think, what ministry in church can I begin serving with the skills you think you have, right? Is he organizing events? Is he joining the choir? Is he welcoming people? You have a beautiful smile. I mean, why don't you, let people be the first face people see, right? So those are just some little things you can put together, right? So let's just reflect and think about the different gifts God has given us, how we can make it work. And this week, let's just see how we can make it work, right? It can be very little in our daily lives. Just send an encouraging text to someone, say hi to someone. And then no matter how small, right? Remember that when you use your gifts, it's like planting a seed. You have no idea how it's going to manifest, or, you're definitely not going to see the harvest immediately, but in time, God will use it to bless others and glorify his name. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eniola. And please, let's take that challenge she's giving to us. Very, very important. Like she said, what gifts has God given you that you're not utilizing fully? And how can you start using it for God's glory today? And just to recap, each and every one of us, we have gifts. We have natural gifts, And as we mentioned earlier, the natural gifts come from God through our parents. They are innate. And of course, they came in when we were born to benefit mankind and of course, the natural levels. And you would recognize this. People around you would recognize this. But we also have spiritual gifts, which are independent of our parents. You know, we can develop this from the things we pick up as we grow up and all of that. And it's for the purpose of people outside us, people around us, to develop God's kingdom. And God has a big plan, as we said. And of course, we need to train ourselves. We need to develop these gifts to be able to meet that God's plan. And you need to be able to discover that. So neglecting these gifts is just like burying a treasure. We will lose the opportunity to fulfill God's purpose in our lives if we don't use those gifts. And the sad thing is that some other people who are meant to benefit from it will not be able to benefit, you know, from those gifts that God has given to us. Going back to that story in Matthew that we mentioned. So let's discover our gifts, brothers and sisters. Let's develop these gifts and let us deploy these gifts for God's purpose with intentionality and with faithfulness. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Wow, 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 wow. This is awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, Eniola. Thank you very much, our big uncle, for just this well-packed session. It's very, very inspiring. There are several questions that you guys have dropped that, you know, it's really thought-provoking, you know, that gets us to think about ourselves and even what we need to do. You know, a gift in time, you know, saves lives. You know, that's, I don't know who said what, but that stuck with me. You get, the sooner I'm able to identify and deploy my gifts, I'm able to save a lot of lives, because there are a lot of people who God has assigned to benefit from my gifts. So the sooner I'm able to discover them, put them to use, I am gonna be helping a lot more people. And another thing that catches me, you know, I think it was Eniola that mentioned that, you know, one thing is to discover your gifts. Another thing is to put it to use. Another thing is to practice it. Another thing is to, like, okay, so it's not enough to discover that, oh, I know how to play ball. Like maybe someone passes the ball to you and you accidentally, you know, raise it and you just maneuver it in a very stylish way. But okay, now that you discovered it, so what are you going to do about it? You know, so yeah, you know, it's a wonderful session, and I'm really looking forward to, you know, the second session that will be happening on Sunday. You know, but today, so I really want to, on behalf of everybody, thank you very much to both of our speakers, the very own Eniola and of course our Uncle Scott. Thank you for your time. Thank you for inspiring us and, you know, just stimulating thoughts and questions in our hearts. These are things, I mean, you wrote down that we should write down things that we are good at. And I think that's a very good thing for us to think about. I think we have a few more minutes. I'd like to throw it open in the event that maybe somebody here has a question, they probably need some clarity, or you just want to, you know, make one or two statements, you know, but yeah, maybe questions, you know, precisely because of time. We might not be able to take as many comments. You know, if there are any questions, this would be the time to ask them. You can ask any of our speakers. I'm sure they are very well here, you know, capable of responding to them, you know, but okay, all right. It does appear that everybody is well in on it. If you are also joining us on YouTube, you could drop comments in the, you could drop your questions also in the comment section. We'll take it up. Okay, I see a hand up. Daniel, all right. Daniel, okay, there are two hands up right now. There's Daniel and there's Dio. Okay, so Daniel's hand went up first. I'll take Daniel. Daniel, over to you.
All right, thanks very much. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, you're ahead.
All right, thanks so much, Eniola and Scott, for this wonderful class. I know I missed the beginning part. I had issues with work, but I think I made the jam at the end of everything. Okay, so the question really caught my attention and kind of provoked me to ask. But Mr. Waye in a way dropped the comment in the box. Yeah. So it's about talent and okay. So I want to ask which one is inbuilt and which one is maybe an ability or discovered ability. Now, gift, gift is given, right? So, but that talent, the way it sounds is like, okay, it's more like this, sounds like a potential or is it an ability like, to be discovered, that's the area I was covered. So, is gift natural and is talent natural, or is gift natural and talent not natural? Has to be found.
Okay. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Hold on, sir. Just before you respond, I think I'd like to take all the questions so you can respond. There are just 2 more people in queue, so you can just respond to all of them at the same time instead of the each person speaking. But I think what Daniel is asking is there a difference between gifts and talents? If so, what differences are there? Okay. So I think Dio, you can just quickly drop your question quickly. You can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you for this question. And my question goes this way. So what if you have been able to identify your gift, but your gift looks like it is destructive in nature? Like it's not, how do I put it?
Your gift is what?
Your gift looks like it is destructive in nature, so it doesn't really add value to the church. Yeah, it doesn't really add value to the church. It has, so it has a form of value, but it's not like too useful in terms of serving God, kind of. Thank you.
Okay, so you are saying, how do you go about it if you can't find a use case for your gifts in the church? You don't know how to apply it in the church. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. That's noted. All right. Emmanuel Ashafa, please, your question.
All right. Good evening. Please come. You can hear me.
Yes, you are heard clearly.
Okay. My question is very similar to the one that Dayo just asked. That can there be some gifts that are not, excuse me, that are not really useful in the church? Is that possible that somebody has a gift but it's not really useful in the church? So it's just a similar question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So I think the questions are, if you put them in 2 buckets, gift and talent, are they one and the same, or how do they vary in terms of meaning and application? Then what if you have a gift that is I can't find a way to use it in God's church, in the community, because we have really emphasized how God's gift to us is to edify the body and build the body up and all that. So what if I can't find a place to give my gift to the church? How do I go about it? So those are the questions for our speakers tonight. All right, so I yield the mic over to them.
Okay. I would like to give Eniola some time to respond. Eniola, do you have some responses before I respond?
Okay, I wanted you to go first, but all right. So for the first question, which is trying to understand, gifts and talents, right? So there are some qualities that we are born with. For example, basketballers, they have a natural quality of being tall. And due to that, they have, will I say, an edge in the sports, right? There's also some qualities swimmers have. Their legs are longer than their upper body, right? So you can call that something that you are born with, right? Another thing that, will I say, shapes us, our experiences. So in Nigeria, there were a lot of school. So as soon as you can talk, you are put in school. So you're learning a lot, and then you begin to develop some things, right? Or leisure. You put in music school, then you discover you can play the keyboard very well. Through practice, you've been able to become very good in it. Or during leisure, you play football and then you've learned all the skills there and then you're very good, right? So when we talk about natural abilities, there are some that we are born with naturally. There's some that we begin to develop through our different experiences. And I can say that there are some that we like even say build by ourselves, based on our natural disposition. For someone that is excited about analysis or you like numbers, growing up, you see that you like maths a lot. You can take a science, let's say, focused career, and then you learn programming, and you see that you're more disposed to build that ability, right? So, yeah, that's what I would talk about natural talents. And then for the second question that talks about, how do you bring your skills into the church? I think we should not constrict ourselves, right? Yeah, it's good. It's very beautiful to be able to use your skills within the church. But the first thing first is to be able to, let's say, use your skills for God's glory. And that's not just limited to the church. Wherever you find yourself using skills, let's say, you build cars, you're like, why not come and be building cars for people in church, right? But where you build your cars, how are you doing it? Are you doing it in the best way you could possibly can? Are you learning new ways in order to, keep building that skills? Are you following all the ethical considerations? You are doing using scrap materials, just using cheap materials, just quickly build your cars? Or you're doing it in the right way, right? To God's glory, right? While you're building cars, people know that this person is the best in his field. When you talk about values, is there. So I think it's just really living out our purpose to the glory of God's name, whether in the church, in our community, in our homes, in our place of work, anywhere we find ourselves. I guess that's what I'd like to say. So over to you, Mr. Shola.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eniola. The question says, is there a difference between gifts and talent? And that's what Eniola just answered that, and I'll just put some icing on that. With gifts, let's just think about it. It's an English word. When somebody gives you a gift, you are not expecting it. You didn't plan for it. It's your birthday, it's Christmas. You don't even know what that person is wrapped up in that box. And they give it to you and it becomes yours. So it's as simple as that. You receive that gift, God put it in you. You didn't plan for it. Talent, on the other hand, it could be innate, it could be natural, and you could develop it. So Eniola did mention some things regarding skills, and she said some things about sports. Some people have that ability to aim, and when they, tossing that ball, they know the angle, they know at what projectiles is just in them, and it goes into the basket. Some of us may have the skills that we're very good with numbers, we're good with techie things, and you can use that, or you might even find passion or interest in something, and you want to be able to develop it. And the moment you get yourself involved in that, a lot of people may be finding it very difficult to just survive in that area, but you find yourself just flowing smoothly. Now, you probably were not born with that, but you can develop that skill. You can develop that talent, and people can see that in you. Now, the other part of it, which we mentioned earlier, was there are natural and also spiritual gifts. So both are gifts, but from what Daniel had mentioned, he said gifts and talent. So a gift is something you probably don't have control over, but a talent, you could bring it up naturally. It could be in you, and you could as well develop it. The second question, I like that question as well, that what if some gifts are not useful in church? As a matter of fact, you may find yourself having a gift that may be destructive. Let's go back to that big picture. Without God's plan and without God's desire, the universe is not going to exist. There will be no light. There will be no stars. There will be no sun. There will be no earth. You will not be existing. So God has a big plan, and there is a purpose for what God wants. And so for whatever gift, for whatever talent, for whatever ability it is you have been able to build, or you have discovered. There is a good side to it and there is a bad side to it. Let us look at some of these guys who have been doing things in the cybercrime world. You will notice that the FBIs and the CIA and the top governments pick up these guys despite the fact that they've been using this skill for the wrong purposes, and then they redirect it to be used for positive purposes. Now they use them as hackers to be able to build more security measures. So the issue now is that it's not that your gift is not good in the church or outside the church, or your gift is not good for positive purposes. The issue is that you have not discovered what direction or what usefulness your gift has to be used for. Whatever gift it is you have, you can use it for positive purposes, and that is where your responsibility comes in. There is a reason why it was given to you and it was not given to the person sitting beside you, because you would be in the best use to be able to implement that gift or that talent. And so that's where your responsibility comes in. That is where the purpose of prayers we talked about. If you lack wisdom, ask God, and He will help you to redirect it. So it is in the redirection that it will be used. It could be in the church, it could be outside the church. You meet people every day. Some of us are able to encourage people just to feel good about themselves and to continue to have hope. You have not said anything about the Bible. You have not said anything about Jesus Christ, but you have raised up their spirit just by encouraging them. That's a gift, and you have made some impact that way. So we don't want to keep talking about this, but I think it's in the direction, and I have been able to attend to the second question and as well to the third question. But of course, we're still together. We can still having more questions, and we can talk more on Sunday. Thank you.
Wonderful. I think that was very, very apt and very, 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 on point. Very, very intelligent answers to smart questions. Thank you very much. I know we have, spent much into the time. We're way past the hour. But again, I want to please everybody jam your virtual hands together, throw your virtual pom-poms up and everything in between, in appreciation to both of our brilliant speakers. Thank you very much for Uncle Scott and of course our dear sister, Eniola, for just sharing and inspiring us. But just so you know, this Sunday we are going to have the dynamic duo come back, to inspire us on Sunday. And if I may add, our brother Uncle Shola Scott will be with us in person, in Shomolu facility, 8 a.m. His heart is so deep with us, just as he mentioned in the introductions, like he's so inspired and encouraged at what we're doing that he feels so compelled to the things that we're doing that he said is going to be right there in person, to come and give us value and encourage us. So please, let's take advantage of that. I know a number of us like to join early online because of the timing and all, but please, this doesn't happen all the time. We don't always get to have, the caliber of person as, our Uncle Shola to join us for worship and being disposed to us to fellowship with him, to engage with him. So please, let us take advantage of this. So that is to open up us up for this Sunday's worship service. Apart from the message that we're going to continue, we're going to have a beautiful worship experience. We're going to have singing. We're going to have, a time of prayer. We're going to be reminded about the cross of Jesus. We're going to be given opportunities to give ourselves, our money to people who will be in need. So please, let us come all. This Sunday by 8 a.m. It's an hour and a half, 8 a.m. to 9:30 is the worship time. But it's going to be really, really packed. So please make out time to join us this Sunday for our worship service in Shomolu. God bless you all. So without further ado, we'll be wrapping up. But of course, just quickly touch base, where all systems go, everything is gearing up. We're going to be having our end of the year rendezvous, beef up. Things are really, really getting in the way, in a smooth way, that is. by say this week, or actually by next week or so, we will be placing orders for our cow. If you see the cow, and you're gonna say, "Bah!" Yeah, so things are really. I'm fired up. I'm looking forward to it. So it's a very nice. It's when you say somebody that is well fed. But I'm looking forward to a wonderful time. So if you have not yet registered, gotten your ticket, please do so. 5,000 naira is the ticket fee, and you don't want to miss it. There's so much to eat, so much to share, so much to learn, and more importantly is the fellowship. The memories that will be created on the 22nd of December will never happen again. So you don't want to miss out on this. So please, we have guys from all across our church in Lagos. They've all registered. So you don't want to miss out on this. Please register today. And by the way, the 5K registration will be closing up on the 15th of December. So please make out time for it. You don't want to miss that out. All right. And God will bless you. And just so you know, this Sunday is actually going to be even, glorious, as we will be having our block leader, Mr. and Mrs. Oni. Also, they've, reached out that they would also like to worship with us and fellowship with us this Sunday as well. So we are really blessed to have this very inspiring people, just join our worship service this Sunday. So please don't miss it out for anything. Plan for it and work towards it, and God's name will be glorified. So without further ado, we will be wrapping up. We will have the breakout rooms open so that we can just continue with the fellowship. And I would encourage you, beyond just catching up on ourselves, let's also share what we've learned. What are you taking away? I know we don't have enough time for everybody to talk about it, but let's share about what we are taking away so that we can also learn from one another. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., we have our prayer time. If you are able to, you can join us. It runs typically for about 30 to 45 minutes. Same link every Saturday, 6 a.m. is our prayer time. So without further ado, I would invite Daniel as he takes us in the closing prayers. Then we will break out for fellowship in the rooms. Daniel, over to you.
All right. Thanks so much. Let's buy it as a prayer. Glorious God, invisible God, King of Kings, King of gifts and all talents. We are so grateful for giving us the privilege to be able to hear from your son and also your daughter, and giving them the message I ask for the children, and also furthermore on Sunday, and even more to come. Thanks so much for how you prepared them so far, giving us this message, encouraging our hearts, and even just reflecting as listening to this message, seeing how you've gone through so much, prepare each and every one of us with certain gifts, and even placing things in our lives in every way in front of us, through our schools, our living, whichever it is, seeing our challenges to refine us, to be able to find these talents or abilities just for us to be able to cope, and also to be able to use it to serve you at the long run. I find everything is just to glorify you, God Almighty. I feel that Father, God Almighty, as we continue to learn, we continue to approach you with more fear, not with fear in a negative way, but Father, to serve you much more better. Thanks so much for how you've been serving us so far, so good. I feel that Father, that you continue to grant us the grace to do more for you. Fill us now forevermore. But to your son's prayers in your Amen.
Amen. Let's have a good time of fellowship.